Patriots Nation, surprise guest Dow. I know he said he wasn't going to make it, but he made a surprise appearance. Welcome, Patriots Nation, to the MayeFlower Voyage, presented by yours truly, Patriots Clubhouse, your weekly deep dive into New England football. This week, the Patriots, 7-2, riding a 6-game win streak, their longest since 2018, under head coach Mike Vrabel, head into Tampa Bay to face the 6-2 Buccaneers, led by Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield. A battle of philosophies. Vrabel's disciplined precision versus Bowles' chaotic blitzing defense. I'm your host, Austin, joined tonight by Thomas, Andy, and, of course, surprisingly, Dow, who was able to clear his schedule and show up. Very thankful for that.
Nice.
Tonight, we'll dive into Maye's Year 2 breakout, the Patriots' balanced identity, the injury hits on both sides, the biggest matchups, and your predictions for Sunday night. All right, fellas, one sentence to kind of kick it off. You can kind of go briefly in depth. What's the headline story for you this week? Start with you, Dow.
I would say big test tomorrow. That's all I gotta say, big test, because, and I'll explain why. We're now into the second phase of the MayeFlower Voyage, where this season's going to be more intense. Injuries are going to pile up. Coaches are going to start opening up their playbooks a lot more, and players have to get it together if they want to make it to the playoffs, because playoff pictures are starting to roll in.
Definitely. What about you, Thomas?
One is definitely about Drake May here tomorrow. Again, we're going against the Bucs defense that is just stingy. I don't care what people say about the Bucs. They're up and down. They're bad. They're good. They're stingy. They're a stingy defense. They're a reason they're 6-2 in the first place. Not only because of Baker, not only because of the lack of weapons he was using here. Not only he's a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback this season, but the Tampa defense is stingy. Regardless who they have on their roster here, Drake May better be wary on where he runs the ball here. I expect him to run the football precisely here, just be smart football here, honestly. But if he doesn't, then yeah, we're in for a long game.
Definitely. And what about you, Andy?
Yeah, I'm looking at, Tampa blitzes a lot, and Drake May is one of the best quarterbacks in the league against the blitz. But on the other hand, Tampa's defensive front is really, really stout, led, of course, by Vita Vea. And, of course, on our side, Ramondre Stevenson is injured, which means our run game is going to be led by Trevion Henderson, I love him, but let's be frank, he's not that stable. And, Tampa Bay, they could, as good as Drake May's been, as Thomas said, I wouldn't be surprised if that Tampa Bay pass rush, gets to him once or twice. And, our combination of young and first-time Patriot veteran O-line may well be tested. And we know how Mike Onwenu's looked this year at points, to be frank, not very good. Will Campbell has held his own, but this will be, the third time in a week he's faced a relatively aggressive front, so he could be tested as well.
For sure. Those are some great storylines. I think for me, it's definitely the battle in the trenches, but more so each of our offensive lines, in the sense of, Will Campbell's been good, but can be inconsistent at times. Jared Wilson, same kind of thing. So we got rookies on that side. We kind of have proven vets on the right who Onwenu really, really looked poor last week. And Moses has just been, kind of like the serviceable guy we kind of figured he'd all be. He's not going to be world killer, but, he's kind of been in there. You flip it to the Buccaneers, who they've that right guard position for them has been a carousel. It has just been swapping people out. I believe they're on their fourth right guard. So they just can't seem to get it right there. Their right tackle, I don't remember his name, but he just got reactivated off of IR. Yeah, Godecki. He got reactivated off of IR. There's a strong chance he actually plays tomorrow, which actually would hurt us, because it was going to be Harold Landry playing on that side. So it'll be interesting to see kind of those matchups. But let's kind of get into, I guess, setting the stage a bit. The Patriots 6 straight wins. Very balanced attack, I would say, more so in these weeks that have just come up versus the beginning of the year. Because let's face it, our run game has been pretty poor. Our defense seems to be getting better every week. We are still kind of susceptible to the pass, but we're kind of forming into a complete football team. We're 7-2, like really pushing for that 1 seed. It definitely hurts the Broncos. Got that win in a very, very shitty Thursday night game, if I do say so. Probably one of the worst watches of the season.
It was. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All there is punt, touchdown, punt, touchdown, punt, field goal, punt, game over.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I'm sorry, what?
It was the Thursday night game between the Broncos and the Raiders.
That was such a freaking dull game.
Awful.
I mean, really, 10-7? Like,
one
of the guys, I talked to this guy who plays fantasy, and he goes, I sat, I forget who it was for Bo Nix. I sat, might have been Sam Darnold. He sat some good quarterback for Bo Nix, and he was like, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah, I think they've won literally every single 1-score game they've played this year.
I know, that's nuts.
It's unprecedented. It's crazy.
And it's against some bad teams too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Texans, like their offense sucks, but they got the number 1 defense, I believe, like in a lot of statistical categories. So
yes,
like that defense is scary. That's what kept them in the game, really. And the Broncos just keep finding a way. I guess that's what good football teams do. But
before we get started with the show, and we haven't done this already, please make sure if you haven't already, smash the like button so that YouTube recommends this channel as a top tier Patriots YouTube channel. And then if you haven't already, and you should be doing so, please make sure that you click the subscribe button. That way, we're getting more members to the Patriots Clubhouse, and you're basically officially welcome. And we appreciate the support. Also, share this with your friends if you haven't already, so we could get more viewers. And if you haven't already, please, and I mean please, scan this QR code to join the Patriots Clubhouse Discord server, where you basically introduce yourself, your name, how long you were a Patriots fan for, and your favorite player outside of Tom Brady during your time as a Patriots fan. And also turn on those notification bells so you won't miss out on a future MayeFlower Voyage episode, because there's not going to be enough more once January hits. So if you don't want to miss the series, got to turn on those bell notifications, got to click that subscribe button, and got to click the like button. Let's get the show started.
100%. So the Patriots are putting up 26.8 points a game. I believe that's somewhere among the top 10 offense in the league. Over 400 yards a game. They list top 5 in sacks for defense, top 3 in red zone defense. Really suffering in offensive red zone. I think against Atlanta or the Browns, one of them was like 2 for 6. Very poor, so we got to improve that. We do, however, have a +8 turnover margin since the streak began, the win streak. I think overall, I think it's a 0 actually, turnover differential, which we could wish for better. But at the heart of it, I think a lot of the credit goes to Drake Maye. I don't think we'd be doing this with any other quarterback at the helm. He's putting up 2,200 yards, 17 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's a great ratio. 74% completion percentage, which is freaking unheard of. That's like Aaron Rodgers MVP type of seasons right there.
Yes.
And 116.9 passer rating, which is third best in the league. We're definitely going to be battling some injuries and whatnot. But to me, Thomas, like, this is what I want to know from you. What's the biggest thing that stands out about this team's, like, how they've been playing lately?
Well, it's basically they have to play confident, clean, and play situational football at this point. Most importantly, they limit the penalties at this point throughout those games. Honestly, without limiting those stupid ass penalties, we would not be. We're almost like the most penalized team in the National Football League. and plus the most penalized team in the AFC in general. Like honestly, like not only with to play competent, clean, and situational football, we have to play competent football here without those stupid ass penalties.
Yeah, 100%. I think we're like, we're up in the. I want to say like the 40s, 50s for penalties committed or something. And it's like over 600 yards of penalties. Like it's not looking great. So yeah, we definitely need to improve there.
And I don't know how I don't know where Tampa Bay is when it comes to penalties. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Definitely. For you, Dow, with all the injuries the Patriots are kind of dealing with right now, like, do you think that's going to affect how we are able to perform against the Bucs? Or because I mean, obviously, we're going to miss Booty, we're going to miss Ellis over the middle. That's going to hit our coverage over there. Do you think that's going to factor?
A little bit, but as Stephon Diggs said in one of his press conferences, it's next man up mentality because you got to be prepared to take over that player who, if they're injured, like for example, Kayshon Boutte, since he's out with a hamstring injury. I want to see if Kyle Williams would be able to step up, maybe have a breakout game, especially if he can prove himself against one, if not the best secondaries I have ever seen based off of consistency. I want to see if we could see some improvement for our young stars, our first year stars, and see if they can turn from rough rocks to diamonds or gems. And that's what we want from our players.
To kind of build on that, do you think Vrabel has done a good job kind of like setting that tone in the locker room for our players?
Oh, it's night and day with Mike Vrabel and the Patriots, because if you were to compare last year, even in the year before to this year, it's 100% night and day because one, there's accountability. Two, you don't see any player, as far as I know, being a diva or basically being one of those players who goes on to social media and acts like one of those Gen Z kids, because nowadays a lot of younger players are like Gen Z and they would definitely go on to social media and be like one of those divas. So basically Mike Vrabel setting the tone, new culture set in place. I think that's a huge improvement. I believe it's night and day with Mike Vrabel, with the accountability and how he changed the culture. And I think that's why Tennessee is already on a downfall.
Yeah, you could tell Tennessee was kind of pissed off at us if those reports are true about them kind of shunning us away, not wanting to deal with us at the deadline. It's one of those things that hurts because it's like I would have loved to have like an Arden Key or a Jeffrey Simmons,
Simmons, exactly. Vrabel guy. Yeah.
Tony Pollard, like one of those guys, like any of those guys could have contributed to our team. But yeah, I think Vrabel's done an excellent job at getting this team like where they need to be. And it sucks that we didn't trade for somebody at the deadline, but at the end of the day, what can you do? What can you do but be a fan and have hope, right? We used to, for the longest time, just go, "In Bill we trust, in Bill we trust," no matter what it was. So how about we give a little trust to Vrabel, huh?
Exactly.
For you, Andy, looking at kind of like the overarching performance of this Patriots team, what's the clearest sign that this success is sustainable and it's not just, like a flash in the pan?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've talked about Drake May, and so long as, he's not injured, he's been amazing on the deep passes, especially on third down. The Patriots rank top 10 in third down. We're between 8 and 9 with a 49 or 42.9 percentage on third down, which is really good and really up from last year. Again, like Dow was saying, so many aspects about this team are night and day. And third down precision is night and day, whether it's the quarterback, whether it's the running backs, whether it's wide receivers getting open. You are seeing this team buying in. Vrabel said, I'm going to galvanize this team, and that is exactly what he's done, and that's especially evident on third down. In the red zone, we rank 18th, so kind of in almost square in the middle of the pack, which might sound bad, but it actually isn't, considering last year we were about, I believe, 47% on third down, and we've gone up to, or in the red zone rather, and we've gone up to 58% in terms of scoring in the red zone this year, which again, is a major difference we've seen between the styles of Gerard Mayo and Mike Vrabel. I mean, you can tell that Vrabel is a been there, done that kind of guy. He's played, he's coached, he knows all three levels of the game, and it's really nice to see those percentages on third down and scoring percentage in the red zone go up. There have been struggles in the red zone, like I believe it was in the I forget which game it was. I think it was New Orleans. We couldn't push the ball in from the 1 yard line. So obviously there is stuff that needs to be worked on, but Austin, like you said, I mean, we've gone from in Bill we trust to in Mike we trust. So here we are.
Yeah, 100%. And I think also the fact that, like, it's very easy to just compare to last year and just look at where we are now and just be like, wow, drastic improvement. Because even though we're 18th in red zone percentage, right? I'm pretty sure last year we were probably, like you said, it was like 47%, which probably ranked like 30th. Like, it was terrible.
Yeah, we were near last in the league. We were 47, which was behind. It looks like, I'm looking at the numbers here, it looks like behind everybody except Dallas. Or the Giants.
So yeah, 31st.
We were like third. We were like third worst. We were exactly at 30th, I think, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very easy this year to just be
18 is not great, but a big
improvement.
Here to here.
Yeah, like offensive line too.
So that's
like
pretty darn good.
It was literally musical chairs last year with the offensive line, and I think that was ranked like 30th or 32. Pretty much every category you could think of last year, we probably ranked somewhere in that bottom 26 to 32nd range. So really, everything is a positive, and it's just nice to see. I couldn't take another year. I couldn't take it. Am I muted?
No, you're not muted.
No,
you're not.
Okay. So let's kind of move on to kind of
Austin, you're muted.
What?
No,
he's not. It might be probably something on your end.
it's probably something
Just move forward. Just continue.
Yeah. Sorry. So we're going to move across to the Buccaneers, and they enter off the bye week at 6-2. They're undefeated at home, contrary to us. We're undefeated away, so that's definitely something to take into account. But their roster really has taken a lot of hits. If you look at the Patriots roster, sure, we've battled some injuries. It's nowhere near the extent of what the Buccaneers have had to deal with, especially with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin on their offense. I mean, those are two all-pro, past Super Bowl champion, receivers. It's going to be tough, but Emeka Egbuka has been lights out for them. He has been dealing with a little bit of an injury, but talk about a rookie. I mean, he's been doing great. Baker's, 15 touchdowns. He does have 6 interceptions. May only has 4, and Baker's only completing around 65%, which still is very good. But it'd be interesting to see that matchup between May and Baker. Bulls defenses too blitz about, I think it says 37% of the time, which is third most in the league. So I really expect to see a lot of defensive fronts where they're just stacking the box and sending people and having May to really make quick decisions. And I'm a little concerned about our receivers being able to get some separation, and especially with Booty being out. But I think a lot of the injuries we have, Mike Evans out, Chris Godwin out, Bucky Irving out. That's huge. Hassan Reddick out, Watts out, Godecki's questionable. Like, a lot of people injured for them. So my question for you, Dow, with all those injuries, who do you think Tampa really has to rely on most to be able to compete against the Patriots?
You're muted.
Oh, you're actually muted.
Okay. I was muted. But yes, I was going to say. Okay. So I was gonna say the Buccaneers will rely on Ibuka, and we're gonna see the rise of Tess Johnson from Oregon because he is because I know that Jalen McMillan is out for the entire season, and that's the guy I was looking at. There could be we might look into Ibuka, Trey Palmer, and Tess Johnson. Those are the guys I'm looking at. Cade Otton is there too. But what I'm scared of the most is more on the offensive line because Tristan Wirfs is back. And you know how I'm scared of Tristan Wirfs being like, I think he's like the second best I would say the best left tackle by far next to Trent Williams. And he's like the best tackle next to Penei Sewell. This is the guy who has been leading the trenches for this Buccaneers team. It doesn't matter if they'll throw it to Ibuka or to Tess Johnson or to Trey Palmer. I will see life is going to be difficult for an edge rusher since you can't stop Tristan Wirfs. And I'm looking at Tristan Wirfs' stats. And bear with me because Tristan Wirfs' stats are going to scare you when I read this. He has allowed 0 sacks, 2 quarterback hits allowed, 10 pressures allowed, 8 hurries allowed, only had a 5.3% allowed pressure rate, only 3 penalties. He has a pass blocking grade of an 82.8, only a run blocking grade of a 72.5. This guy is a all pro on both sides, left or right. You do not want to underestimate Tristan Wirfs. This is the guy I'm more scared of.
Yeah, Tristan Wirfs is a hell of a player, especially when healthy. I can't remember if he had some nagging stuff after Brady retired. I feel like he did, but I mean, he's been really good for the Buccaneers O-line. But unfortunately, the rest of that O-line has been kind of a liability to Baker. We'll see if they can really hold up. And, you know, I think it'll be a test. Like I said, games are going to be won through the trenches, and let's hope our pass rush can get through that beaten up Buccaneers line. Thomas, what kind of challenge does Bulls defense present for a young quarterback in May who maybe hasn't seen a lot of defenses that just would constantly send the house like Bulls is probably prepared to do tomorrow?
Yeah, if you have not watched Todd Bowles as a coach, as a defensive coordinator, he's the one coach scares the ever-loving fuck out of me because he is the guy that disguises the freaking pressure very significantly well here. Look what happened to the Bucs back in 2020. Probably the best looking defenses in the National Football League where they won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady as the freaking quarterback for that team. Hell. He's a defensive-minded coach as well here. He used to be a defensive coordinator when he was with the Jets, who was completely garbage. They still have a good defense because Todd Bowles was there. Todd Bowles has the ability to disguise the pressure significantly well to raise anxiety levels on the offense, especially on the line here, which our team needs to be beware of. Todd Bowles is the one person nobody wants to go against here. I know people do not want to against Jim Schwartz. Nobody wants to go against another defensive-minded coach or Spagnuolo for the Chiefs, but nobody, and I mean nobody, is the one person I'm scared of to go against. One coach to go against is Todd motherfucking Bowles.
Yeah, Todd Bowles is very, very bold in how he schemes up his defenses. And yeah, you're right, Thomas. He's very excellent at being able to disguise the blitzers. And I am scared with May not having much exposure that he is going to be a little susceptible to some of this. And maybe we'll see quite a few sacks as a result of, maybe him IDing the mic when it's the safety coming in type of thing. So we'll see. I have faith in this line, but time will tell. We'll see tomorrow. It'll be interesting. For you, Andy, when you look at kind of like Tampa Bay, what do you think they're missing? what area takes the biggest hit because of all the injuries that they've gone through?
Well, I mean, I think it's their ability to stretch the field is going to be really hit without Godwin, with neither Godwin nor Evans. As you said, it's going to be difficult for them to stretch our defense in terms of stretch our defense vertically when we have to cover, obviously, two of those two stud receivers simultaneously. I mean, yeah, we'll have to cover still Otten and Egbuka, but they can't shred a defense quite the way Evans and Godwin can. So that's going to be a big minus for them, being short both of those guys. And I think having Bucky Irving out is going to impact that offense as well. They're going to have to, I mean, like Dow said, they have Egbuka, they have Otten. We could well see a rise of Ted Johnson here, or Tez Johnson rather. I just think, if it comes down to one score, and I think a lot of us are thinking this is going to be a one-score game, they might have to rely on their defense getting a turnover, which, as we've indicated, is not far from a possibility.
I think I just realized there's one other player I forgot on the offense. I think Tyler mentioned him too. Sterling Shepard's gonna be on the offense too. So he was with I think he was with the Giants, if I'm not mistaken.
He was.
Mm-hmm. So basically, I will see some Sterling Shepard, and
Shepard's now a Buck. Ugh. Boy.
Well, knowing Carlton Davis, who was a former Buck, I want to see if he can be able to take advantage of his former teammates. Granted, he's never played with I think he played with Baker for one season. I don't think he played with Egbuka or Tez Johnson. He has played with the other receivers. Like, he has a general idea of the rest of the team. So basically, we could get an idea from Davis's mindset, because he used to be a former Buccaneer from 2018 to 2023. But the thing with the Buccaneers, we know that their rushing attack with Rachaad White, it's going to be bad. And I know that we're still going to continue our streak of being the best run defense. My only fear is the pass rush and the pass coverage, because we have been a liability, technically. We were 19th overall in passing defense. We are 32nd in red zone defense. That is what I'm more scared of. The fact that we are dead last in red zone defense.
Agreed.
That is where we're going to have to see, especially one of the top 5, top 10 offenses.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys maybe think, because of both the Bucs wide receivers kind of being injured and them kind of having to patch a couple different guys in, and obviously with Booty being out for the Patriots, do you think Baker and Drake may revert and play, and in turn maybe become more of check down Charlies this upcoming game? Any one of you guys can answer if it's going to be more short passes than kind of airing out the ball.
To me, it has to be short passes at this point. But like, is it supposed to be on our quarterback?
Either one. Because
honestly, like for I want to go to Drake May first, because honestly, he needs to focus on short passes. Like, I don't give it. Like, I know he's the best deep ball thrower in the league, but I'm sorry, he needs to start throwing short passes at this point. More of them at this least, because we're going against the Bucs defense. A secondary is lethal when it comes to deep balls at this point on opposing quarterbacks. So if I was Drake May here, I would say like a 5-10 yard throws at this point here. I don't care if the passing game is garbage, bad, mid. What? You know what? Where's my freaking cards? Where is it? I don't care if his performance is mid or an F at this point. Or an F at this point here. He needs to focus on throwing 5-10 yard passes. Like, if you want to go for a deep ball, do it at the right time here, because we do not want to make any mistakes on offense, especially with that interception, which we saw last week, which should have not been an interception against the Falcons.
what also pissed me off, I don't want to see Drake May putting himself in harm's way, because he had 6 sacks last week up against one of the best pass rushing defenses. Knowing the Buccaneers and knowing they're going to blitz, they're going to get, I would say, 5 to 7 sacks. And Drake May is currently the second. He's second in sacks allowed. Next, and number 1 is Cam Ward. We do not want to see that with Drake May. Do you know who third is? Justin Herbert. This is why it's not how the offensive line has been performed. It's how Drake May being accountable for those 12 sacks that he allowed, because he was being forced outside of the pocket, making him have to run through with his legs. So that's what I'm scared of, because I will not be shocked if we're going to see like 7 to 8 sacks on Drake May. I will not be surprised.
Yeah, this whole line's definitely going to have to try and hold up if there's any hope of Drake May kind of pulling one out of the hat. But as Paperwaves kind of says, I don't know if he's referring to Baker or Drake. I assume that's a Drake.
He's referring to Drake.
Highest performing.
That's May. Yep.
So, yeah, there's a good chance that he'll still be able to extend the play and kind of make something happen. So, let's hope.
Yeah. Before we move on here, like honestly, before we move on to this point, like, yeah, of course the offense line needs to perform. Like I said the last episode, if the offensive line, especially the right side, and I'm looking at you, Michael Wenu, if they do not perform, I will hee-haw at their stupid line, for fuck's sake.
I don't blame you at this point, because he's going up against Yaya Diaby and going up against Vita Vea, and knowing their defensive line, I'm looking at all of these players, especially with the pass rush. The one player there are a lot of players I'm looking at. Yes, Yaya Diaby is currently the leader in sacks for the Buccaneers. So if you don't stop Yaya Diaby, he's gonna on Michael Wendell, and then on Bradbury, and then his way onto Drake May.
Okay, you need to fucking stop. You need to stop, dude. Okay, yeah. I get the freaking joke, but dude, please stop.
Someone clip that.
Clip that. Yep. Somebody please clip that during the stream or end the stream. Clip that.
But yes, besides Diaby, also got to keep an eye on Anthony Nelson. Got to keep an eye on who else am I looking at? Dennis, obviously, old Levante David. Never forget about good old Levante David, because I'm
correct.
Also, I don't think this will mean much. Hassan Reddick is also out, but he has been a liability for this team so far. He was with the Jets, Eagles, Cardinals. This guy's a cancer. He doesn't change anything.
No.
The only player I'm keeping an eye on is David, Diaby, and Vea.
Yeah.
100%. So I think we're going to move on to kind of talking about some of the key matchups in this game. I'm going to start off with Drake May versus Todd Bowles' blitzes. Obviously, we kind of talked about Bowles sending pressure from everywhere. He loves to send the safeties, the corners, linebackers. Like, that's something I really like about Bowles. Like, he's very bold in how he plays. He disguises a lot of stuff. He's not afraid to send anybody, like safety, whatever. Like, he's just like, all right, you're going to go blitz the quarterback. May's been really good against the blitz. He has a 66% completion rating, near the top at 118, and I guess he's averaging 1 sack every 14 dropbacks. That's pretty good. For me, Thomas, when a defense throws that much at a young quarterback like Drake May, what is the key for Drake May to be able to stay calm in the pocket and be able to diagnose the defense?
Trust your fucking reads. especially with Drake May at this rate. If you do not, and I repeat, do not trust your damn reads or trust your plays, shit's about to hit the fan here. Honestly, it's important to have Drake May to know where his quick outlets, and he can stay decisive here, or else he will commit all-time bonehead plays. Honestly.
Yeah, I totally agree. Drake May, he just needs to trust that what Josh McDaniels is implementing, that he can diagnose, read the field, and just, if he needs to, like, be the check down Charlie. I know it's so frowned upon, but Brady did it for years, and we consider Brady to be the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yes.
Why can't Drake May do the same thing to kind of elevate his game, so to say? We've seen the deep passes. We've seen the touch on, the passes he throws.
Yes.
But let's see him be able to make tight window throws, short over the middle to the running back. Let's see that this Sunday. For you, Dow, how can New England's offense counter Bulls' aggressiveness? Do you think they have a sort of maybe game plan in mind?
This is going to be really hard, especially knowing Todd Bowles, because Falcons last week went everything on the kitchen sink at Drake May, and we all know what happened. We had 2 turnovers, 7 sacks. I'm going to see a lot more because run game is going to be a big issue with Stevenson and Gibson. We know Gibson's already out. Stevenson out. They're elevating Dearness Johnson for the second time. If I don't see anything out of this run game, and if this offensive line can't even do a good job with run blocking, they're going to wreak havoc on this offense. In addition, I want to see the Patriots being able to secure the ball, not putting the ball in harm's way going up against Todd Bowles, because they have one of the best secondaries. When you think about Antoine Winfield, when you think about Jamal Dean, this is where Drake May needs to take the next step, because last game, and I'm going to say last game, that his performance regressed. Even though he had another 100 passer rating, even though he threw for more than 200 yards, I am scared for Drake May because he regressed. And this was his second consecutive game where he threw a pick. And I will not be shocked if he throws another pick. Knowing how good the safety room is, and I know who are the safeties, because they have by far the best safety room out there with and I'm gonna list them: Antoine Winfield, Taki Dave Smith, Kavion Merriweather, Christian Isaac, and Sebastian Castro, all under Antoine Winfield. Knowing how good the safety room is, it's gonna be living hell. They're gonna make life living hell for Drake May.
Yeah, that safety room is definitely very scary to go against. I would argue that he probably faced a scarier safety room last week with Xavier Watts and Jesse Bates III. So I would still give my respect to Antoine Winfield, and I forget the guy, Tiki or something, Smith. Yeah. I'll give my respect to them, but I don't think it'll be as tough of a challenge as last week was against the safeties, which, as you saw, Drake May threw a pick right to Jesse Bates, I believe.
But the other player I'm more scared of is Jamel Dean.
Yeah, Jamel Dean has been very solid. Used to play opposite of Carlton Davis, so it's kind of like a homecoming, I think, because I don't think Carlton Davis has played against his old team yet. So that's an interesting storyline to kind of.
Actually, he did.
Wait. Did he?
When he was with Detroit.
Yeah,
against Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah.
But he's never played against his former team at Tampa Bay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so that'd be interesting. Kind of to build upon what Dow said, Andy. Based on how May's played lately, do you think he's equipped to handle everything that's about to be thrown at him?
I have faith that he can, as he's been much calmer under pressure this year than last year. We did see, oddly enough, toward the beginning of the game, the Cleveland defense made him skittish, and toward the end of the game, the Atlanta defense made him skittish. So, like Dow said, and like you said, Austin, this Tampa defensive backs room could absolutely be a problem, and it would not shock me if he threw a pick. But I think he's gotten better at Maye has gotten is significantly better at diagnosing defenses under Vrabel than he was under Mayo. So, a key for him is just staying calm. As Thomas said, do not force the ball out of your hand when you don't flip and need to. And I really do hope there's more of a check down game tomorrow, like throw an out route to the running back, scheme Hunter Henry open, maybe even Austin Hooper for a play or two. You've got players you can check down to, and you've got to take advantage of that.
Yeah, and it's not to say, like, if Drake Maye can beat him throwing deep, then by all means throw deep. I just think it's
100%.
It's going to be a tough ask against the secondary with having your top separator out in Kayshon Boutte.
You also have a decent separator in Diggs, but he's not Boutte.
True. To move on, I'm kind of going to go over some trench warfare. So we're talking kind of the Patriots O-line more so versus the Bucs front seven. I feel like this could be a big deciding factor in how this game will turn out. New England's O-line has been pretty good. 18% pressure rate allowed during the win streak, so the 6-game win streak. I think that places him top 3 in protection metrics. But Tampa's front has beasts like Vita Vea. Obviously, Hassan Reddick is out, but their edge players are insane. I think it was Taylor Kyles I was reading. It was pretty much every single one of their D linemen or edge rushers is either at the top or near the top in pressure rate. So I think that's going to be a crazy test for Drake Maye, even though he does have great success with throwing against pressure. Do you think, Thomas, that this O-line has what it takes to kind of keep our win streak alive, or do you think they're just going to get eaten alive by this defensive front of the Buccaneers?
I'm going to say that the nice way as possible. We're getting eaten alive by Tampa's front. I'm sorry. Do I have trust against this Bucs defense? No, absolutely not. This is the game we could lose. Our streak might come to an end. Because Tampa's defense is the most stingiest defenses in the league. And it's not even that funny. And to say the least here. And the offense, I don't think if our offensive line is not, what's the D word I'm looking for? Disciplined. When it comes to get away from penalties and some sort like that, dude, this is going to be a long day for this line. That they'll get a long hee-haw.
More like yah.
Shut up.
Yeah. That is great. No, that is great. No, that's a good answer, Thomas. It's definitely I want them to perform well, but it's not the same as like going against the Browns where you're like, oh shit, they have a game record. It's like you look at the Bucs and you go, oh shit, they got multiple game records. Like, I'm confident in all those people on the defensive line to get pressured.
Just like the Buffalo Bills game. Like, the Bills defense is legit. Like, this is the second test on our schedule. I don't care. This in our schedule, the second toughest test is the mother flipping Bucs. And you know what's another test for us here? The Ravens. I don't care about their win-loss record. No. Their team, with Lamar Jackson back, and the defense is getting more stingier, that's another test we need to be wary about.
However, I'm looking at this Tampa Bay team, and they have been looking shaky as far as they have been looking shaky as our concern before the bye, as Tyler alluded to. Because if you look at these past 2 games, and I know they're coming off a bye week, they could be worse. They could be frauds. And here's why. They lost when Mike Evans went out. They lost to the Lions. But that was because the only 2 losses that the Bucs had were against the Eagles and the Lions, who I think are the top 2 teams. But the only reason they lost they didn't do a good job against the Saints, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions from Baker Mayfield. The only reason they did well was because of their defense. The offense is where everything's going to change for the Buccaneers. You got to keep it up. I'm scared how both of our offenses are going to look. The defenses are where it's going to be where it's at, because the 2 defenses, like when I'm looking at this, the Buccaneers the 2 weeks ago, they had a pick 6. They got another, and then the offense just looked abysmal for the Buccaneers, and we got to take advantage of it. But the problem, I'm looking at our advanced defense. In the past coverage, we looked abysmal. Like Carlton Davis, and I know, Thomas, you're going to be pissed at me. He has been a liability. Allowed 5 to 6 targets for at least a touchdown. Marcus Jones, I know he didn't have a great game, but that was because of height size matchup. So I'm hoping and I'm praying that everything changes when the Patriots defense takes advantage of the Bucs offense that has regressed within the last 2 games.
Yeah, those are some very good points now. Very good points, because they have been almost a liability on defense and offense and all around. Sometimes the Bucs feel it's like, do you think the bye has helped them versus, like, you know how the Pats are on a 6-game win streak? Do you think rhythm's kind of more important going to this week, or do you think the rest of the Bucs have is going to be more important for them?
It's both. It has to be both rest and rhythm, because you want to get all of your players to be healthy by the second half of the week. In addition, they can't be rusty because they just came off of a bye. Here's the thing. We don't know the practices for the Buccaneers. That's for sure. We don't know what the insides are with the Buccaneers. As far as it's none of our business. We focus on the Patriots. However, everything can change. But usually during the bye week, teams get rusty, unless you're the Buffalo Bills, who are currently having have an undefeated win streak with Sean McDermott after coming off of a bye. But generally, teams coming off of a bye are usually rusty. And I will not be shocked if the Buccaneers regress just a little bit. But this is where we need to take advantage on offense and defense after this is where I'm going to be a little strict on the Patriots offense. And I don't know why, but the offense in the second half only scored 3 points. Well, compared to the past where they do well in the third quarter.
Yeah, you had a complete flip, and it's why you ultimately nearly lost that game. And yes, May was clutch on that final drive with the 4th down, 17-yard catch by Hunter Henry. But like you just said, that was the complete flip of pretty much every other game in our win streak, where it was, it was go, 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 and then sputter in the third quarter. All those other games were let up a touchdown to the shitty quarterback, but then clamp down your offense in either the second quarter or right after the half and play lights out. I don't know. I don't know which team we'll see against Tampa Bay tomorrow, or it could be, neither of those things. Either the defense gets going right away and doesn't let up, or, I don't see, given that both teams are healthier on the defensive side of the ball, I could see this game being a slugfest, a legit one.
Yeah, to maybe build upon that, like it is going to be a slugfest in the trenches, I think. And do you, Andy, think we're going to implement more? And I say this because we're going to be without Ramondre. Do you think we'll implement more maybe outside zone runs into our scheme to get Henderson going? Because it's going to be really hard to run it against Vita Vea up the middle. That's just my opinion, but
I think you're 100% right, Austin, and I'd love to see Josh McDaniels and
Trevion Henderson.
Josh McDaniels and Trevion Henderson, thank you, and Doug Marrone scheme some outside runs there. Because that's what Henderson proved he can do it last week, and that's the only way to run if the Bucs clog up the center of the field. Essentially, you're going to have to run Henderson to the outside to get around him.
And do you think Terrell Jennings has more of a role in this game? I think last game he had a decent role with, the red zone touchdown, and it looks like we elevated Dearness Johnson as well, who I think is a pretty solid player, a little flashy. So do you think those guys maybe find a role in this game?
Yeah, definitely. I think once you get, if we get inside the, 20 or 25 yard line, a check down to the running back, and then, well, again, with Vita Vea plugging the line there, that might be difficult. But I hope we can get those guys going again. You have a little bit of depth at running back, and not have to lean on Henderson too much. Get him injured too, so that would be ideal to not have your arguably your running back 1 and 2 both off the field.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good to implement a back by committee thing. I think New England's always done that, and it just goes to show, like, even though we are dealing with all these injuries, obviously Gibson tore his ACL, feels like Stevenson's dealing with almost like a turf toe type of thing. So it's nice that even through these injuries, we did bring up Terrell Jennings from the practice squad. We did elevate a Dearness Johnson, and we are still trying to find multiple backs rather than having to shoulder everything on our young rookie in Trevion Henderson.
And very few. You said running back by committee. Very few coaches are more adept at that than Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look at all the teams in this league. Like, almost all of them usually have a clear-cut bell cow, run it every down type of thing.
Look at Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit's been like a perfect sample of if the Patriots can do that, that's what we want to do. We want to have our version of Sonic and Knuckles, and unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen this year. Even next year, I don't think Stevenson is that Knuckles. I think Henderson is the Sonic, but I think we're still looking for those Knuckles.
We need a Knuckles.
Yeah, he's not Genty or Henry or Bijan, by a long shot. Or who?
Taylor or Cook.
Right. Or the list goes on.
I think the last matchup I want to talk about is kind of like the air duel. So Patriots secondary versus the Bucs receivers. Obviously, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are going to be both sidelined. Jalen McMillan's going to miss the rest of the season, so they are going to have people like Sterling Shepard, Emeka Egbuka, their rookie, Tez Johnson, another rookie, brothers with Bo Nix. I think that's an interesting story too. If you guys haven't known about that, definitely look that up. The Patriots secondary come into this, healthy, confident. They're playing fast. They really could dominate this matchup. I know it was a little shaky with Gonzo with that head injury against that contested catch with Drake London this previous week on the sideline. But I think our secondary has been playing better. I think Davis is going to continue to be better for us. Honestly, he has to. We're not going to go any further if he continues to kind of play the way he has. So I'm hoping to keep seeing some improvements from him. And even then, it's more nitpicky. I think he has been playing better than people think he has. I believe it's more of like a media push of Carlton Davis sucks. So, but if you look at kind of the statistics, he really actually isn't that bad. It's just every time a big play happens, we're kind of just like, oh, he's the nearest man, it's his fault type of thing. I think Carlton Davis is better. I'm going to ask you, Thomas, what do you think the defensive priority is here for New England? in terms of stopping the Bucs.
No busted coverages, force the long drives, and wait for mistakes. AKA keep everything in front of you at this point. No busted coverages at this point, and do not let the Bucs receivers make any big plays, including Tez Johnson or even Nabucco, the rookie of Ohio State, or even Rashad White or Kate Otten, which we saw what the Bucs have been playing for here. They have there might be still the most consistent offenses, even though they're mediocre, even though they're above average, which I still think they're a dangerous offense. We have to go against our pass defense, which we clearly are ass.
To go off your point, Thomas, I agree with you have to stop with the deep passes or allowing big plays, because I'm reading this play with this point. Baker Mayfield leads all quarterbacks with 8 touchdown passes on 20-plus yard throws. He has yet to throw an interception on such throws. So it's really important that we change the history by making sure that we take advantage of not allowing this Buccaneers offense to make these big splashy plays.
Yeah. It's going to be, it's going to, I don't want to say it's going to look quite like Super Bowl 53 or that game against the Broncos and the Raiders last night, but this is going to be, which could come down to which defense, makes that final play. We'll see.
Yeah, we can't underestimate this receiving core. Like, as easy as it is to kind of be like, oh, they don't have Mike Evans, they don't have Godwin, they're not going to do shit. It's like
still have Egbuka, they still have Otten, Tez Johnson.
Yeah, Rashad
does
White
not look like a pushover. Rashad
White's a good receiving back. Sterling Shepard was solid all those years on the Giants. I mean, for a lot of these recent years, I think Sterling Shepard's kind of been their go-to guy, and then obviously he eventually found his way to the Bucs. But they're not slouches. Like, I feel like there's definitely worse receiving cores you could go against in the league. So it'd be interesting.
Cleveland.
Yeah, that is when you're throwing to your backup tight end as your main pass catcher, something's wrong in Cleveland. Let's say that. For you, Dow, how important are the corners in keeping Mayfield, honest and, making him frustrated and maybe hopefully forcing a turnover? Like, how important are our corners play? And
we got to be it's got to be really important, because it seems like the problem with like some of our corners is we allow some of these big plays. I know Gonzo unfortunately allowed here and now and then allowed a couple of big plays, so it's really important to make sure that all of the corners, even the safeties, to lock up on all of these players, because in past that usually in the first quarter we look terrible, especially allowing a quarterback to score within the first drive, even if we were to defer. So it's really important that we have to make adjustments. We have to make sure that the cornerbacks get it together and make sure that they're locked in, making sure that they are keeping up with the players, because the problem with some of these corners, and I know Davis has this issue, is going up against speed. And usually speed kills them. I don't know if any of the Bucs wide receivers are like that speedy compared to the Dolphins wide receivers back in week 2, but knowing the Bucs offense, like without Evans and without Godwin, you don't have to go up against these big boys. So you're going up against your typical average wide receivers. And granted, you're going up against a potential offensive rookie of the year in Emeka Buka. I would be disappointed if they are having an off day, especially it's a big test. And I mean, it's a big test going up against these Buccaneers wide receivers who are like 3, 4, 5, and 6, because I'm looking at the rest of the list. I thought they have Trey Palmer, but Trey Palmer's out, I would assume. So you got to keep an eye on not just Shepard, not just Johnson, and not just Ibuka. You may also want to keep an eye on Ryan Miller, who has been, sometimes he could be a gadget for you, a sneaky guy. If all the corners are able to lock on your 3 big targets, there is always this hidden player that can be a splash for you.
Yeah, I would love to see the Patriots implement more man coverage, whether that's in, cover 2 man or cover 1 robber, like stuff like that, because the fact that these past 2 games, it feels like we've gotten exposed, maybe more so just this last game, but I don't understand how you could have this whole game plan of like, oh, let's shut down Drake London, and then every time you just passed him off to Marcus Jones. Every time Drake London scored, it was just Michael Penix, let's throw it up, and oh wow, the 6'4" guy caught it over the 5'8" guy. Who would have saw that coming? To me, that's just terrible game planning, and we need to maybe get away from some of the zone and really, really hammer down on this man coverage, play very, very tight, and just do what we can to kind of make Baker kind of off his rhythm, really. With
exactly, yeah. I mean, I think it was at least one of these last few games after we switched to man from zone. I think, the quarterback's passing yardage dropped by half. I don't know. I might just be spitballing, but yeah, we should. Yeah, I don't understand all this zone coverage we've been playing against good wide receivers. It makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah. I do have a question for you though, Andy. In terms of our defense, what kind of stands out? Like, what have you seen that our defense has done that's kind of trending upwards? And I understand it has been shaky at times all across the board, but like, what stands out for you?
Is our passing defense. I mean, we're still ranked. I think it's 25th. I just looked it up, but that's almost entirely because we allowed north of 300 passing yards to Geno Smith and Tua Tagovailoa. Since then, this has been a pretty lockdown pass defense. I mean, we held like Aaron Rodgers to $150. And I think you said, Austin, it's like we've allowed over our 6-game winning streak, meaning since Carolina, we've allowed an average of less than 6 yards per carry, which is an elite pass defense. And some of that is not Christian Gonzalez. Well, it is Christian Gonzalez coming back, which was big, but it's also Marcus Jones. And we did not, or at least I did not see, this kind of season from Marcus Jones. I thought it was like, okay, it's going to be Gonzo. It's going to be Davis is going to add some juice to this cornerback room. And, and Jones is going to be kind of your third man on the CB depth chart. Well, it's looking a little different now. And Alex Austin is
Mr. Irrelevant.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, it is kind of fun to look at and surprising. Not surprising to us, but if you look at some of the reports early in the year, there was like these things where it's like, oh, Vrabel likes a bigger, slot corner. Vrabel wants to ship off Marcus Jones. Marcus Jones doesn't have a role on this team. Lo and behold, I mean, I would say he's outperformed every player in our secondary outside of maybe Jalen Hawkins and obviously Gonzo now that he's back, kind of healthy doing his thing. But yeah, I mean, Marcus Jones has to be the best and biggest surprise to this year. And I mean, not only just his corner play, but his special teams returns. Like, out of this world. And that's something too, where I guess the Bucs really struggle. They're like bottom of the league in terms of special teams coverage on punts. So that'll be
interesting.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to look to kicking it to the sidelines to prevent Marcus Jones from breaking away. I believe they allow something like almost 16 yards a return, which is pretty high.
The Patriots allow or the Bucs allow?
The Bucs allow.
Yeah, here's the thing. Special teams usually changes games. Remember the last time we played against the Buccaneers? Everything changed when it came to the special teams. But then again, I'm going to say this again. That is on Belichick for not trusting in Mac Jones. Because I do not blame that mixed field goal on Nick Folk.
No, I mean, that was the rain, like 40, 50 some odd yards. We're talking an aging kicker in his mid to late 30s. Like, I don't know. That was just a recipe for disaster. I think we should have gone for it. Was like a 4th and 2, 4th and 3.
4th and short 2. Yeah, it was that was a no-brainer. Vrabel, If I had to hazard a guess, if Vrabel were our coach, he would have gone for it, but that's the past. It's water under the bridge. Thank God we don't have to deal with that crapola anymore. Although this zone versus man coverage is, to say the least, a little bit frustrating. But hey.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next section,
Tisk.
I just want to say, make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Really, really thankful for everybody that showed out tonight. We really appreciate all your support. You can scan the QR code to join our Discord as well, or link is in the description. For anybody that did win the giveaway last week, please, please, please reach out to me. I am in that Discord, so if you guys are not in that Discord, please join that Discord. I am under Wise Sage in that Discord. Please reach out to me if you won. If you don't reach out to me within the next, I'd say, week, I am going to have to forfeit your card win just because I'm trying to send all these cards out and I'm trying to do it in bulk one at a time, just get it done with. And I can't have, I can't be waiting on that. So please, 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 if you want to win your card, like you want to get it in, please reach out to me with your address so I can do that. But let's get on to the next section. We're going to be talking some hidden X factors. So in terms of X factors, I'm kind of thinking like under the radar almost. I'm thinking, someone unexpected, right? It's easy to look at the Patriots and go, these are their top players. And it's easy to go to the Bucs and be like, these are their top players. But for you, Thomas, who's your Patriots player to watch in this upcoming game?
Matt Collins. Because he's your guy. You need to be dependent on here. I know we need to talk about Kyle Williams, but nobody's been talking about Matt Collins. Ever since we got him in this team here, I'm a huge fan of him because he's going to be more like our red zone threat wide receiver or a 10-yard wide receiver. The dude can actually play ball. And I don't know, but the Tampa defense, in my opinion, is definitely the best defense that's out there. But if there's somebody who's going to step up to Booty, I know for a fact people are going to talk about Kyle Williams. He's on the quiet for a while. In my opinion, it has to be Matt Collins.
Yeah, I could definitely see Matt Collins being, kind of the X factor of this game. He really stepped up. Was it against the Browns where he led everyone in receiving yards and catches? It feels like with the Patriots, it's in any given week with these receivers. I mean, we had Diggs' homecoming game against the Bills where he absolutely took over the game, didn't score a touchdown, but I mean, nobody can deny that dude went off. Then you have Booty with multiple touchdown catches against the Saints. You have Douglas having back-to-back big games. It feels like a lot of our receivers are, kind of sticking up. It is going to be interesting with Booty out. Do we think we see more of a role from Kyle Williams? Do we think we see some more snaps from Efton Chisholm? What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, you just mentioned Efton Chisholm. I've been a big fan of his since the preseason, and I think in Booty's absence, I like Thomas mentioning Matt Collins. I think, he could definitely, it's one of these wide receivers is going to be an X factor. I think, it could potentially be Efton Chisholm. I mean, does he have some, like we talked about special teams, does he wind up having some big special teams play? Does he, have that, he had some, I think it was either a third or fourth down touchdown against the Vikings in the preseason. He could, kind of just maybe even slide him in for a trick play if you're behind by a touchdown and you're on the Tampa 4 or 5 yard line or whatever. Throw him in there for a trick play. So potentially, I think a guy to watch could definitely be EC3. I hope so. Fingers crossed.
100%. To kind of
love me some Efton Chisholm.
To kind of build on that, I know you talked about Chisholm a little bit, but do you think there's another under the radar guy that could maybe perform for the Patriots here in this game?
Who's more likely to play? Yeah, and that under the radar guy would be one of the running backs we talked about earlier, whose name I'm blanking on.
Either Terrell Jennings or
Terrell
Dearness
Jennings.
Johnson.
Terrell Jennings.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, speaking of red zone threats, maybe again, if you're in a short yardage situation in the red zone, might not be the best thing to run a sneak play against this Tampa Bay defensive line, but a quick check down pass from between the 3 and 5 yard line, a little out route to Jennings, might get a nice little touchdown in there. So, or maybe even, actually, no, he's not really an outside runner, but yeah, maybe a little scoring threat if you get deep inside the red zone to watch.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I really think we're going to need every hand on deck in the running back room to really get anything going against this defensive front. To kind of spin it for you, Dow, I know we talked about X factors for the Patriots. Who do you think is going to be maybe a big surprise in terms of the Bucs?
Big surprise for the Bucs. Based off of looking at the roster, I'm not impressed with any of the one player I'm looking at besides Rachaad White. We might see Sean Tucker on the run game if he managed to ball out technically, because he did get a touchdown against the Saints. Granted that he is not generally going to be your running back 2. He's more like a running back 3, but I would not be shocked if Rashad, because if they were to use Rachaad White, I will also see a lot of Sean Tucker.
Is he that running back out of Syracuse?
Yes. That's exactly who he is.
And then there's also keep an eye on Payne Durham if they were to go to
Payne Durham, the tight end. Yep.
And then, like I mentioned before, Ryan Miller. He's a small guy. I think I could be totally wrong. Let me take a look at. Let me quickly look at Ryan Miller. No, I lied. He's a big guy. Ryan Miller. I thought he was a tiny guy, but he's a big guy. So don't underestimate Ryan Miller. He got that touchdown against the Texans.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, it's probably like the Tyke Smith guy. He's very young, athletic, and maybe he's Todd Bowles' wild card in coverage and maybe even in the blitz. It's going to be interesting to see how he's able to, line up on this defense and disrupt, kind of what May's able to see down there. It'll be interesting. Now we're going to kind of move on to predictions and some bold takes, or how we're calling it, Through the Spyglass. It's our new segment. It's just kind of like a rebranding, trying something new. Hope you guys enjoy.
Trying to be creative, similar to how we did with Winners and Losers, now Musket Men and Misfires.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to take a look through the spyglass, and we're going to be given, maybe some bold predictions, or we're going to be given, score predictions as well, whichever. Feel free, you guys post your predictions in the chat. We want to know what you guys
will react to them.
Exactly. We want to know what you guys think that, if the Pats are going to win, are the Bucs going to win? Is there
or maybe a hidden player might ball out, or maybe a hidden player might disappoint. Who knows?
Exactly. Until you guys comment, though, I'll start with Thomas. What do you think your prediction of the game is going to be?
This may gonna piss off some Patriots fans. I just think this is the game we may lose. I have no faith in this offensive line at this point. I want to have faith in them. I do have a little bit of faith in them, but at the same time, we're going against the defensive front of the Bucs, especially Vita Vea at this point. He's probably the most dangerous guys on the front line. The secondary is going to be scary. It's going to be a long game for the Patriots. I think it's going to be close to the extra thing. I say, but it's going to be a low-scoring game for me. Buccaneers 21, Patriots 18.
All right, so you have the Pats taking a loss, ending that win streak, ending their away game streak. Interesting. How about you, Dow?
I'm on the same boat with Thomas. Granted that we are currently undefeated away, anything could change. I still remember back in 2021 where we were undefeated for the majority of on the road up until week 15 when we played against the Colts. And everything went to hell from there.
Right after the bye week, too.
Mm-hmm. What I want to see. But knowing the Patriots, I will not be shocked about this. I see the Patriots going. I see them losing 23-20 Buccaneers. And I will not be shocked if Drake May throws another pick. Because you're going up against another competent defense. And if Drake May continues to regress, continues to put himself in harm's way by allowing like 6 or 7 more sacks and another turnover, then there's going to be some questions. So 23-20 Buccaneers.
Also having the Buccaneers beat us. Man, I'm kind of thinking the same thing, but before I get my opinion, we'll stop with you, Andy.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing too, but I have a feeling of what you're gonna say, Austin, a little one. So I am gonna spice it up a teeny tiny little bit, even though I don't think this is gonna happen. I'm going to say Patriots 24, Bucks 21. Do I think that's gonna happen? No. But, it could be a slight rerun of that. That's the game. That's actually the score I called against the Falcons last week, and it wound up being 24-23 Pats. But I think, it could be one of those games where, we get, a freak turnover, a strip sack, a pick, and a Vrabel-led, that a defense led by Vrabel, forces that late turnover, the way they did against Tom Brady in the wild card game back in 2019, 2020, and ice the win. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but I just threw it out there kind of for kicks.
Definitely. I do think there is a world where the Patriots win, and my prediction probably will say that. I do think the Patriots are going to win. I think May probably balls out, and I'm hoping for multiple touchdowns, and maybe this could be our big statement win. Like my original prediction was Patriots 26, Buccaneers 24, but the more we talk about the defense that he's going to have to face, they're going to have to face a good defense too. At the very least, I feel like this game should have been flexed, and I understand they couldn't because of our Thursday night game coming up. But
they should have flexed the game from 1:00 to 4:25.
Yeah, at least
exactly.
4:25.
Because you can't change within the companies. It's on CBS. We know that Jim Nantz and Tony Romo are calling that game.
Exactly. So it's just one of those this could be game of the year potentially. I think it's gonna be a very close game. I'd actually be shocked if it's Patriots run away with it or if it's Bucks run away with it. I think it's gonna be very close. For the sake of being honest, I do think the Buccaneers are a more complete team, 100%. Even given the injuries to their wide receivers. So I will go. Let's say Bucks 31, Patriots 29.
There you go. Yeah, may I say this? I'm not on the Tony Maz, Tommy Curran side of things that says, oh yeah, the Pats are due for, a drubbing, or I forget what they called it, because the reason is this. It's Mike Vrabel and Drake May. I think those two guys together are the recipe for not a blowout. A loss, entirely possible. But I don't see them. I just don't see a double-digit loss. I think those two are too much of a match made in heaven. IMO.
Okay, so Thomas did say he has to go, but
Okay.
I will be reacting. We will be now reacting to your thoughts. So if you haven't already, please comment down below your game predictions, your bold takes, because we want to hear what your thoughts are. And if you're watching the recap, comment down below what your game predictions are and what your thoughts are. By the way, so let's start off with Ray's comment. 28-21. I'm hoping that their skill position players being out will be beneficial, though I wouldn't be shocked or hurt by a loss. Interesting. Gerard went something he went past 31, $27, wrote before Austin said anything.
Yeah,
Nice.
That's good.
That is good.
Awesome. Real quick, now that we got our predictions done, we're just gonna take, maybe this is like a through the spyglass plus. It's more so kind of looking at some implications and maybe the outlook if the Patriots were to win or if they were to lose.
There is one other possibility that I forgot to point out. It has to do with the division. The Buffalo Bills are going to be playing against the Miami Dolphins. If for some apparent reason we lost and the Buffalo Bills lose to the Miami Dolphins, that does not change a thing. But I will not be surprised. But I am not going to be shocked at all. If the Bills were managed to beat the Dolphins and the Patriots lose to the Buccaneers, the Bills will once again be number one in the division, which I will not be shocked.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge implication in terms of this game because in one hand, it's like this is our toughest test yet, and it's like all this pressure is weighing down on our team, and it is kind of a big win because I know it's not a division game, but like you said, Dow, it's like if we lose and the Bills find a way to win, they're top of the division again, and obviously there's still a lot of season left, but if there's any way for us to continue building that lead, or even if it's just keep a game ahead, wouldn't you be happy if, we get to the point where we're playing the Bills and we have a 1-game lead by the time we play the Bills at home and say we lost that game, then we're tied. I'm not really sure how the tiebreakers work at that point.
It will depend on the division record. That is why as we head into December, after our bye, when we play against the Bills, if we lose to the Bills, it will we will be tied 5-1, depending how we play against the Jets and the Dolphins, because so far we're currently undefeated in the division. The Bills lost to us, so anything could happen. But the only reason we're above the Buffalo Bills is because the Buffalo Bills had a bye while we didn't have a bye. So anything could change. We got away with it because we managed to beat the Patriots. We beat the Bills, sorry. And the Bills were stupid enough to lose to the Falcons, which made it easier for us since we beat the Saints and we automatically were number one in the division. So this week is really important when you think about it.
Yeah.
And Gerard makes a good point. I mean, he says, unless we beat the Bills again, then we're division champs. He makes a good point where, we could afford to lose to the Bucs and say we went out against, the Jets, the Giants, Bengals. Yeah, so if we went out against those teams and then we're playing the Bills and it's like whoever wins practically wins the division and we can win that game, I mean, that's a possibility too. I mean, the Bills also have a very hard strength of schedule coming up. Like, I know it's Miami this week, but
they got to play Kansas City.
Yeah, no, they already
played Kansas City. They got to play
Tampa Bay next after.
They play Tampa Bay though. So wouldn't it be
Houston still? They got Philly.
Wouldn't it be something if we could beat the Bucs and they lose to the Bucs? Wouldn't that be something? I don't know.
That could be a possibility.
I don't know if our team is that good yet, but I mean, we're on the right track.
I'm scared because this is what I got a little pissed off. And I know back in Tuesday we had to discuss this. We and the Bills did next to nothing in by the trade deadline. But when you think about it, when you look deeper into it, there is a lot more meaning for why we did not even make a move. But however, we were more like sellers than being buyers. Because if you watch this, I'm going to be monitoring San Francisco games, and here's why. If Keon White plays all 7 of the last 8 to 9 games, we get a 7th round pick back.
Okay.
Conditional.
It's a 7th, not a 6th.
It's a 7th.
Well, we got a 6 for him, but what Dow's saying is we'd get our 7th back if he plays 7 games.
If he plays 7 games, okay.
So it will mean everything because we have more draft capital for more assets. Even though day 3 doesn't mean much, they could be hidden gems. But if we were to talk divisional round, if we were to talk divisions, the next 4 games for us, it's going to. I'm looking at the schedule. We have a more easier schedule. It will depend on how we play because I am really scared for the Patriots offense, not the defense, the offense. Because after that performance against the Falcons in the second half, it's scratching my head being like, are they going to bounce back? Are they going to be the road warriors that they were? Because we're currently undefeated on the road. Granted, we beat the Saints, Titans, and Dolphins in a close game on the road. But the Bills meant so much more because we played on the road the final time we were at Highmark Stadium. So if we can do the same at Tampa Bay, and I know we picked the Bucs, and I know I did, but I want the Patriots to prove us wrong and why they are still road warriors. That is going to be the big question as we head to tomorrow's game.
Yeah, it's going to be a big question, Dow. And after this, we have a stretch that's Jets, Bengals, Giants. Now I would have been worried about the Bengals where we playing Joe Burrow, but it's going to be Flacco. It's going to be Flacco, old Flacco, mind you. You know, they still do have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Chase Brown. They don't exactly have nobody's on offense, but I mean, that team has taken some ugly, ugly losses this year. Okay, but it's the NFL any given Sunday.
Day. That's why
I didn't think Atlanta would lose to the flipping Dolphins.
I didn't think the Falcons would beat the Bills.
No, neither did I.
I
thought the Bills had come out firing both barrels after
I thought so too.
After we beat them, but they went down to Atlanta and laid a freaking egg.
Like I said before, this is why you have to work your way up. This is no easy league. Because here's the thing. We haven't won at least 6 games since 2021. Granted, it was an easy schedule. So this is like since 2019 where we went
8-9 in 2022.
What do you mean 2022? You mean 2021, right?
2022, we went 8-9. 2021, we went 10-7.
No, as in like the winning streak.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay.
So it's really important to work our way up. And if we continue our winning streak, that will be great for us. That just shows that bang, 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 bang. NFL has to be aware because if we were to win and the Bucs are starting to be like the Falcons like they were last week, that means something.
Right. We already went on the road and beat the Bills. Some guy, I think it might have been Phil Perry, said, if we go down there and beat the Bucs, people will be talking Super Bowl contenders on Monday. I have a buddy who thinks we'll make the Super Bowl. Am I there yet? No. But do I trust Vrabel and May? Yes.
What are your thoughts on this, Austin? We didn't get to hear your thoughts about like the complications as we head to the second half because I'm going to tell you this. November and December are the most important months of the season. everybody's saying like October and September, and everybody's complaining about week 1.
Belichick is right. Belichick is 100% right. Austin, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, Belichick's 100% right in the sense of he used to always preach football begins after Thanksgiving. And it's so true because it's easy to be like, the Pats are on a win streak, but all everyone loves to point out is, oh, but you lost to the Raiders. Oh, but you lost to the Steelers. We lost to the Raiders week 1. Chop it up to first game jitters, not really a lot of cohesion, not understanding stuff, right? As far as the Steelers game goes, I mean, the Steelers lost a game to the freaking Bengals. I know they played pretty well against the Colts, but I think the Colts are pretenders, not contenders. In my eyes.
Too.
So, and we only lost to the Steelers because of a 5 turnover. It was like a 5. I think it was 5 physical turnovers, but we actually technically turned it over 6 because of a turnover on downs. But yeah, I mean, I think our team's been solid. As far as implications, I mean, I'm more interested to kind of see what another win would mean here. I mean, you don't get another win by being lucky. You get another win by being a disciplined football team, by being violent in the trenches and being physical and, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, taking care of everything week in, week out. This is the whole point of showing up to practice, showing up to training camp, just showing up to players' meetings, doing all the extra work. I mean, I think it was earlier in the week they were saying 41 players showed up on a day off to weightlift together.
Yep.
Tell me another team that has that much aura. Come on now.
I know. These guys want the Jets and Dolphins were finished. Good one, Gerard. You're right, buddy.
Like Gerard said, September and October are just getting your feet wet.
Exactly.
And also, I know I want to say this upcoming week, it's going to be really special. And here's why. That week, and I know it doesn't mean much generally, but they're going to be playing in front of veterans, as in veteran soldiers, because of Veterans Day coming on Tuesday.
Correct.
I see all the players with wearing something camo and I know that they will be playing for all of the military, all who serve for our country. So this is going to be really important to see which team can show a better performance for the veterans.
Yep.
100%. Before we get to the closing, just another reminder, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification below. We have a link to our Discord down below as well, and the QR code in the top right corner. Please join our Discord. There's a section in there about introducing yourself. Tell us, your name, how long you've been a Pats fan, why you even became a Pats fan, maybe a favorite moment. And, by doing that, you're going to be entered into future giveaways that we'll do here on this channel. If you were somebody that previously won on this channel, please, please, please reach out to me on the Discord about the card that you won. Otherwise, it will be forfeit in 1 week time. I really don't want to do that, but I'm going to try my best to reach out to everyone as well. But at the end of the day, you guys gotta come to me and you gotta claim that stuff. We're offering these cards to you.
It will be back in another monthly giveaway. And I'm aiming that monthly giveaway could be around my birthday, because that birthday stream could be really important, because my birthday is the day before the Bengals game.
Oh, nice.
So maybe keep an eye on that, guys.
Yup.
100%. So with that, we're going to be docking in Tampa. 6 straight wins, a young quarterback growing into a leader, a coach building a culture that wins again. This isn't just a rebuild, guys. This is a revival.
Yes.
Dow, Andy, 100%. Always a pleasure sharing the deck with you. Patriots Nation, please drop your score predictions below. Like, subscribe. Join us next week as the MayeFlower Voyage continues. Join the Discord, top right. Fair wins, calm sails, and as always,
go Cats!
Go Cats!
Peace out, everybody.
Peace.